Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were discussing Nick Saban and talking about the behind the scenes of his decision to retire. And now we're going to be discussing the Washington Commanders could trade up for Caleb Williams. But before we do that, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show. We get a number of questions from the viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. The tips and donation link is GSMCPodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and it also just really helps the show.
Right.
All right.
What do you have? What do you have for me, Miss Faye?
Okay, so Skip Bayless suggests Washington Commanders could trade up for Caleb Williams. For over a year now, Caleb Williams has been widely touted as the prospective number one pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Now, it appears that the Chicago Bears are prepared to make him that number one overall pick. However, the Washington Commanders could be eyeing a major blockbuster trade up for the USC standout. With a significant portion of NFL teams currently seeking quarterback upgrades, the anticipation surrounding this draft class is palpable. Despite the abundance of talents available at the position, the consensus remains steadfast. Williams is poised to claim the top spot. Yet, amidst this speculation, the focus shifts to the Chicago Bears and their pivotal decision regarding the first pick. Will they opt to retain Justin Fields as their quarterback, potentially trading the pick, or will they select Williams? So.
Okay. If I was the Chicago Bears, I'd be hopping around like I'm playing hopscotch. The Bears have the first pick and the ninth pick. The Bears need more than just Caleb Williams. They need a lot. They need offensive weapons. They need everything. And yes, they have the number one pick, and everyone looks at it as, you have to get a quarterback. Well, this is one of those situations where I feel like you can have your cake, your ice cream, whipped cream, and eat it too. If I'm the Bears, needing so many weapons, needing so much, would I trade to the Commanders? You're going from the first pick to the second pick. That is a no-brainer. Yes, I would. I would even trade when I made that trade. I tried to do that early enough so I could trade this. I trade back even again. I trade that second pick for more players. I trade their ninth pick for more players. They are so far away from contending for a Super Bowl, and even one quarterback is not going to do it for them. Multiple all-star players is what you're going to need. What you need is to go out and strengthen the offensive line, strengthening the wide receiving corps, strengthening the running game, strengthening the defense, and you don't have enough picks. So by going back, trading back a couple of times in the draft, I think that is truly the smart move. Long term, if you want to turn around the Chicago Bears, they have a unique situation where to trade with the Commanders. If that's possible, trade with the Commanders, they should do it. There's going to be a lot of people, if they did trade with the Commanders, are you willing to trade and go back even further? There's going to be a number of teams, even that eighth pick. You can still end up late in this draft and still draft a quarterback later in the first round, early second round. It's that many really great quarterbacks. And there's very little gap between the number 8 quarterback and the number 2 quarterback. Caleb Williams is the one who's probably the highest rated of them all. But for what you could get, you could easily end up with, might I say, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, 7 players. If you started trading back, early round players, by trading that number 1 pick and keep trading back, you could get your quarterback of the future and your weapons and change this franchise around. like that. That's what I would do. I don't understand why that is not even being talked about. It's pretty much what's been talked about is, do we keep Justin Fields and or do we use the pick? Pretty much everyone's been like, oh, use that first pick.
Hmm.
Well, you need more than that. I mean, trade back, get those weapons. You know, the Bears are not a great team and they're missing talent. They are lacking talent on that team. Do you see what I mean by that? Teams, you could trade that first pick, get 2 or 3 first round picks this year and next year, some second round picks for this year and next year. That eighth pick the ninth pick, you get some first rounds for those who multiple first rounds. Now, by just trading back out of this, you walk away with 6, 7 first round picks, 6, 7 second round picks. That's how you change a franchise.
Hmm.
Sitting there and you know what is it gonna do to you for you when you have no weapons? A quarterback is only as good as their weapons. You don't want to have to sit there. You don't want a situation where you drafted a quarterback and you stunned his growth and his abilities strictly because there's a lack of talent around him when you can just trade back, still get your quarterback of the future and so much more. That's
Hmm.
just kind of the way I see it. I just don't understand why no one and not that many other people see it that way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if your team's not solid before that, adding a new quarterback isn't really going to change that. So I agree that they
You,
need to
you,
do something else other than just getting a new quarterback.
yeah, you have to, if you have they have a unique situation.
Hmm.
They have the first overall pick, which is incredibly valuable. Teams will give up a lot for it.
Hmm.
Guess what? You need a lot. You have that eighth pick. There are a lot of teams that are willing to give up a lot now this year. You're loading up with weapons this year. You're loading up with picks and weapons next year. You're literally 2 drafts away from back to contending again. I don't understand why people aren't considering this. Now, Caleb Williams, and let's switch this over to the Commanders.
Hmm.
I like the fact that the Commanders are going to be a an up and coming team. Do not be surprised if the Commanders aren't contending for the NFC East this year. I worry as a Cowboy fan. I fear the Commanders more than I fear the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles after their big slide. But I look at Commanders, they got cap space. They're a young team. They're no longer a dumpster fire organization. They have new ownership, which they've brought in some of the best, smartest minds, uh, just changing things around. I truly love what they're doing. I do not want to see the Commanders get strong because that's kind of with my Cowboys. Those are sometimes easier wins,
Hmm.
and I don't think there's going to be an easy win in the NFC East this year. I could totally see them making headway. Then you mix in the fact that this organization has upgraded as in management. They're upgrading in coaching. They're upgrading at quarterback. Even if they stay where they're at, they're going to end up with a really good quarterback. But if they get Caleb Williams is that guy. That's Caleb is that game changing quarterback for an organization like the Commanders, who they've already started making a lot of the moves. They have a lot of talent, so I could see why they would do it, and I could see them giving up a lot to get it. With the new owner, they want to make a big splash. When owners come in, brand new ownership groups come in, they want to put their mark on a franchise and show, hey, I'm in town. And the best way to do it would be to go up and get Caleb Williams. I am not the biggest, I sent you this article, and I'm not the biggest, Skip Bayless fan as far as following what Skip Bayless has to say.
Mm-hmm.
Skip has been is very biased on a lot of things. But they're talking in this article, they're talking about Skip and what he thinks. But I agree with him that it's a really good move. It would not shock me, And then when I look at, man, speaking of Skip, and I'm changing the subject just a little bit. That first take show, not first take, but Undisputed show, it is just not the same without Shannon Sharpe. Just changing that a little bit because that's where Skip is famous for being on Undisputed. And since losing Shannon Sharpe, his ratings have just plummeted. He's not even the biggest show on his network anymore. And, sometimes you can make a lot of crazy takes for a very long time, but eventually you're going to lose the talent. And I just see that show is struggling bad. Unlike us, we're on that uptick. I know we have our future Hall of Famer and Faith over here. I didn't say in what. I just said you're going to be a future Hall of Famer somewhere, somehow. Anyway, I was just joking around and just talking about, I do think Skip is onto something by thinking that the Commanders are going to move up. It's the right move they're hungry for a franchise quarterback, and that's the biggest one of them all in this draft.
Well, I would love to hear, I guess, your prediction for all of this. What do you think is going to happen?
Will happen?
Yeah.
The Bears are going to do the Bearsiest thing of all. They're going to keep the pick. They're going to draft Caleb Williams. They're going to trade Justin Fields. And unless Marvin Harrison Jr. slides to number 8. Now, that's a situation that would be interesting. If they were able to take Caleb Williams and somehow Marvin Harrison Jr. slid to number 8 and they took Marvin Harrison Jr., that's a combo where you've gotten your quarterback and your weapon too, but many people do not see Marvin Harrison Jr. sliding that far. In my opinion, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the second best player in this draft. Caleb was 1, Marvin Harrison Jr. is 2. But a lot of teams tend to jockey for that quarterback position. And that's why he could slide. But I'd be shocked if he slid to 8. Because if you could get Caleb Williams and a dynamic wide receiver like that, those are cornerstone pieces. The odds of that happening, though, are incredibly slim. Mm-hmm. But that's my prediction there. I don't think they should do this, but they're going to take Caleb. They're going to trade Justin Fields away, probably to somewhere. Maybe you're talking about maybe the Steelers, Atlanta, somewhere like that. The New England Patriots, somewhere where they're desperate for a quarterback. Denver Broncos. I think they're gonna go and trade away Justin Fields and just keep on and move with Caleb Williams.
With that, what do you think the Commanders will do if Caleb Williams is taken first from?
Oh no! If he's taken first, they're taking. No matter what, they're taking a quarterback. Mm-hmm. I am not quite sure what quarterback they're taking. The guy I like in this draft, who I think is still in the draft, is J.J. McCarthy. And I see him sliding a little later. I think he'll still be a first-round pick, but I think he'll be later in the draft. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure who they're gonna pick but the Commanders are definitely they're not going in there with how next year they're gonna draft a quarterback. They want to get that quarterback of the future. The ownership, they want that splashy pick. If they can't get the first pick, the second pick is going to be a quarterback, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be discussing a judge who throws out a woman's $820,000 insurance claim after photo shows her throwing a tree. So stick around.
What?
Just wait.
Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
We'll be back, guys.